This is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player 1, Player 2, Player 3. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. Starts with the letter J. Country cookbooks. Our founding fathers. Birds. Drink it, dance it, or drive it. And in the bookstore, Player 1, you start us off. To cross the street illegally. Yes, Player 1? Right. Player 1, you pick again, please. It's combat between two knights on horseback using lances. Yes, Player 1? That is correct. You get to pick again, Player 1. Breed of cows named for one of the Channel Islands. Here's what we were looking for. Jersey. Please pick again, Player 1. Many computer games use this lever. Player 1? Yeah. Right. Select again. A green mineral or a fickle woman. Let's hear it, Player 1. Good for you. Player 1, back to you. Cabriolet. Let's hear it, Player 1. No. Oh! Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Player 3? No. Anyone else? Let's hear it, Player 2. You got it. All right, let's get back into this. Player 2 has control. Hambo. Here's the response we were looking for. Dance it. Player 2, back to you for our next selection. Kirsch. Okay, Player 1. That's right. Way to go. All right, let's get back into this. Player 1 has Trabant. Here's what we were looking for. Drive it. Player 1, back to you. Huapala. The correct response is drink it. Player 1, back to you. Perhaps this thrush, a type of babbler, hangs out at comedy clubs with the same named hyena. It's Player 3. That's right. Way to go. You're out of the hole. Where do we begin, Player 3? Listen, you white-bellied bustard. I know where you live. This continent's savannah. Okay, player 3. Yes. Player 3, back to you. This common long-legged wading bird gets its name from a prop used by circus performers. Player 2. Correct. Player 2, you're in command of the board as we continue, right? Musical name of Cygnus buccinator. Player 3? No. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player 2. Good for you. Player 2, choose again. Fit for a King is full of his favorite recipes, including the chicken served at his wedding to Priscilla. Yes, player 1?
Yeah!
Yep. All right, let's get back into this. Player 1 has control of the board. This bird of the family Gruidae can be distinguished from the heron by the bustle of feathers over its rump. Okay, player 2. You are correct. Player 2, you're in command of the board as we continue, right? Here's Kelly. She'll show you.
The southwest wall of the Thomas Jefferson Memorial displays an excerpt from this document, of which Jefferson was the primary author.
Okay, player 1. No. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Let's hear it, player 2. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else? Player 3? Right. Player 3, where do we start? At age 15, he was a bell ringer at the Old North Church. 25 years later, he told the church sexton to light 2 lanterns. Let's hear it, player 2. That's correct. Player 2, where do we start? He served jointly with William Hunter as Postmaster General of the Colonies from 1753 to 1761. Okay, player 2. That's correct. Player 2, you pick again, please. On April 24th, 1778, this naval hero captured the Drake, the first British ship defeated in war by an American ship. Here's the correct response. John Paul Jones. Player 2, choose again. Before he was on the $10 bill, this first Treasury Secretary was one of the 39 signers of the Constitution. Let's hear it, player 3. Yes, great, you're back into it now. Player 3, make a selection, please, as we continue. The Little House Cookbook features frontier foods from this woman's classic stories. Let's hear it, player 2. That is correct. Player 2, where do we start? This daughter of Maybelle Carter honored her mom by writing Mother Maybelle's Cookbook. Player 3? Right you are. A lot of clues, a lot of categories, player 3. Make it. The Teammates by David Halberstam chronicles the friendships of Ted Williams and others on this team. We're talking about the Boston Red Sox. You get to pick again, player 3. John Grisham switched gears with skipping this holiday, about a couple who want to skip the consumerism. Okay, player 1. That's right, way to go. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 1. The Devil in the White City examines murder, magic, and madness at the 1893 World's Fair in this U.S. city. Okay, player 3. Good. Player 3, where do we start? In a Stephen King book, writer Paul Sheldon is weary of this title heroine he created. Player 3? Yeah! Please pick again, player 3. Appropriately, part 3 of this 1953 novel is Burning Bright. Player 2. Sorry, that's wrong. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's the correct response. Fahrenheit 451. You get to pick again, player 3. It's the Daily Double. You're tied with player 2, so how much? All right, here's your clue. You'll find Goober's Banana Pudding in this Mayberry Auntie's book of delightful desserts. The lead is also yours. And now the $1,000 clue. There's a recipe for butcher holler possum in Your Cooking It Country by this country music queen. Okay, player 2. Correct. Player 1 is in third place, which means, of course, player 1 will select first in Double Jeopardy. Clues are worth $400 to $2,000 in these categories. The Vatican. Minority Report. Books and authors. Country music stars on film. It's all good. And attraction. Player 1, you're in command of the board as we continue right now. The bird Ardea herodias isn't just any blue heron, it's this blue heron. It's player 1. That's not it. Anyone else? Here's the response we were looking for. Great. It's the car battery terminal with a plus sign. Okay, player 1. Yeah! Right. Select again. It can mean far better than average or not yet settled like an unpaid debt. Okay, player 1. You are correct. Player 1. Pick again. As an adjective, it means very impressive. As a noun, it's a lavish production. We're talking about spectacular. Please pick again, player 1. Marvin Hagler was Marvelous Marvin. Tom Seaver was nicknamed Tom This. We're talking about terrific. Select again. Using adsorption, yes, with a D, activated charcoal in these military items attracts harmful chemical vapors. Here's the correct response. Gas masks. Player 1, choose again. Female deep-sea anglerfish use this, produced by bacteria, to attract prey. Here's what we wanted. Light. Player 1, choose again. In a covalent bond, two atoms each contribute one of these to a pair, which is then attracted to the atom's nuclei. Player 1? No. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? We're talking about an electron. Player 1, back to you. A 1936 dissent by Justice Stone accused 6 other justices of a tortured construction of this document. Player 1? Oh, you're right. Please pick again, Player 1. In his first major case as Chief Justice, he found himself in the minority in 2006 as Oregon's assisted suicide was okayed. The correct response is John Roberts. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Justice Brennan, dissenting in Paris Adult Theater v. Slayton, said this quality is too vaguely defined to regulate. Yes, Player 3? Oh, sorry. Any other takers? It's Player 1. Yes. Player 1. Pick again. Justice Holmes dissented when seditionist Jacob Abrams' conviction was upheld, saying he didn't pose this type of danger. It's Player 3. That's it. Player 3, you're in command of the board as we continue, right?
Yeah!
Answer, the first of the daily doubles. And you're in the lead now. Please enter your wager. Answer this. Justice Harlan was an honorable one-man minority in the 1896 decision Plessy v. Him. Congratulations, you're still in first, Player 3. Player 3, back to you for our next selection. In 2003, Mitch Albom had a #1 bestseller with The 5 People You Meet in Here. Player 2. That is correct. Player 2, you're in command of the board as we continue, right? In 1947, he published his first story collection, Dark Carnival. Fahrenheit 451 came 6 years later. Here's what we wanted. Ray Bradbury. Player 2, choose again. Answer, the second daily double. You're in second place, so what is your wager going to be? Please enter your wager. Here is your daily double clue. In Willa Cather's O Pioneers, the heroine, Alexandra Bergson, is of immigrant stock from this country. You've moved up to first place. Player 2, back to you. In 2007, his book, The Road, earned him a Pulitzer Prize and entry into Oprah's book club. Here's the response we were looking for. Cormac McCarthy. Player 2, back to you. Bombicol. One of these attractant hormones is sort of the Calvin Klein obsession of the female silk moth. It's player 1. Right. Player 1, where do we start? Newton found that the degree of gravitational attraction between two masses varies inversely with the square of this, r. It's player 2. Sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Yes, player 3? No. Sorry. Any other takers? Yes, player 1? Right. You again, player 1. In Rhinestone, she turned Sly Stallone into a country singer. Player 3? No, sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's what we wanted. Dolly Parton. Player 1, you pick again, please. How do you like him now? Now that he made his film debut as fading country star Bo Price in Broken Bridges. The correct response is Toby Keith. Player 1, choose again. He was the mean and abusive Doyle Hargraves in Sling Blade. Here's the correct response. Dwight Yoakam. Please pick again, player 1. Hats off to this singer, who played the dad and horse rancher in 2006's Flicka. The correct response is Tim McGraw. Player 1, pick again. In a 1969 film, he showed some true grit as John Wayne's young sidekick. Here's the correct response. Glenn Campbell. Player 1, James Michener's Centennial centers on a fictional town in this state. Player 2. That's not right. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the response we were looking for. Colorado. Player 1, pick again. Crispin of Viterbo was the first one of these created by John Paul II. Okay, player one. That's not it. Any other takers? We're talking about a saint. Player one, you may not use cell phones or felt-tip pens when researching in the secret these. Yes, player one? Sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's what we wanted. The archives. Player one, the four papal these churches include St. Peter's and St. John Lateran. It's player three. Right. Where do we begin, player three? The Inventario Manoscritti room is part of this Vatican building. Let's hear it, player two. Hey, you're right. Now let's take a look at that $2,000 clue, shall we? The faithful can make offerings via cash or credit card to the fund called This Man's Pence. Here's the correct response. Peter. Good game. All of you will continue on to play Final Jeopardy when we return. Now, Final Jeopardy coming right up right now with this category. Islands. Please enter your wager. Now, let's reveal the Final Jeopardy clue. In 2003, Emily Rose Christian became the first baby born on this island in 17 years, bringing the population to nearly 50. Let's see your response. And this correct response will add how much to your score? What did you say? With that correct response, you will gain. What did you put as your response? Sorry, that incorrect response will drop your score by... You've come out ahead as our champion, player two. Thanks for playing. We'll see you next time.